You're such an asshole.
Hello, children. Got kind of an interesting question here. Where to go? Hello, Cappy. I'm a huge fan, and you have been extremely influential in my life. Please trust me when I tell you that your content, both the YouTube and your book, saved me from certain suicide. Oh, good. Glad to help out. Boy, we haven't saved a bunch of people from suicide, though. Holy cow. There's a video for that later on. I'd like to request a video with a more positive and fun topic. Could you spend around 30 minutes? I'm not spending 30 minutes. No. I will spend the amount of time I have to spend. Not your fault. New asshole. Even more of an asshole. New and stronger than ever before. KMFDM is a drug against assholes. No, I will tell you what I'm going to do. While your relationship with the following three red pill icons, Sandman, Flinging Monkey, Troy Francis, Modern Life John, Ryan Stone, could you spend 6 minutes or so talking about? No, I will spend the amount of time I will spend talking about them. Please talk about how you first met them in real life or online, what you think of them as people, what you enjoy most about their content, and what you believe they could each provide for the community. It would help me be cool, but interesting, funny stories and experiences with each guy. And the reason I charge so little is because I haven't met most of these people in the real life. Also, please reach out ASAP to Sandman. No, not going to do that either. And it's not that I don't want Sandman or TFM on my shows. We are all busy. All of us. We all have other shit going on. We all have jobs. I cannot emphasize this enough. The authentic red pill guy you have all come to know and love over like the past decade, essentially. We all had real jobs. We weren't born, had rich parents, and then like, well, I'm going to do this. We all have real shit going on in our lives. And this on top of it, we don't have time. I would love nothing more than to do collabs with, I'd love to have Pop on and Joker, and I'd love to, but there just isn't enough time, man. Never stop doing the important work you do, and please postpone retirement Smith & Wesson plan long enough for me to one day get a chance to buy you a beer. Yeah, the Smith & Wesson retirement, but no one understands that. That's if you're terminally ill and in pain. That's it. That's all it was. Not you, but I got all the, back in the day, the tradcons. You're all that's against Jesus. All right, so let's go through Sandman. Hang on, Sandman TFM. I've not met any of these guys in person, so that's going to answer a lot of your questions. I don't have any stories like, oh, we went to the bar and got crazy, and Troy met a girl. I don't have any of that. How you first met them in real life or online? What do you think of them as people? What do you enjoy about their content? What do you believe they provide each for the community? All right. So Sandman, I just met him online. And I think he was one of the original men going their own way guys. He's been around a long time. And I guess out of all of them, he's the one I've had the least amount of interaction with. But he's just a friendly guy that I've met. I appreciate how he kind of forgave me for accidentally doxing a bunch of guys. When I had a guy tweet, this was when I was criticizing the posers. The men sent their own way. And I said, I want to see who these people are. I mean, I want to see if they're overweight or fat. And then, I can't get the girls. And then somebody tweeted out and tweeted at me and says, here. I'm like, yeah, okay, here, fine. And then I didn't realize, oh, shit. Anyway, so he was one of the few that forgave me for that, so I do appreciate that. And since we've had kind of a business relationship, he reviews my books. I appreciate it. And when you get reviews of his book, when he does a review of your book, that's good. We did a couple things like business-wise, like I helped his Brave browser. But yeah, and then also he does have a strong finance background. I think that's his profession. I'm not sure. What do you think of them as people? So that's how we kind of met. What I think of them as people. Unfortunately, I've never met the guy in person or had a one-on-one. So all I have is
Hello, Sandman here.
And he reads his script. And the problem with script, it's like Black Pigeon Speaks or The Critical Drinker. It's scripted. They're not allowed to fly normally. So you can interpret a bit of their personality and their psychology based on what they write, but that's not really 100% them. I've heard him on some podcasts and all that. We've been emailed and all that. What do you think of them as people? So, but yeah, I like him as a person. What do you enjoy most about their content? Sandman, I like how it's so insulting and in their face. And cheers. It's melodic. It's so I like that. But to be perfectly honest, out of all of them, Sandman, I kind of his stuff I don't consume. I consume it the least because I know what it is. And I don't know. It's kind of like, what does a mechanic do for fun? Not work on cars. It's the same thing. You consume a lot of red pill contact. Very little. I listen maybe to Rollo, Joker, because Joker gets more to the punchline, and I enjoy seeing other people suffer. Not Joker, but the people he talks about. But then I usually geek out on geek podcasts or Critical Drinker or the Beckloff or World Class Bullshitters. I don't really, even Jack Napier kind of tune in, or the Masculine Geeks. So I don't really, which could be said for most of these guys' stuff, is I don't really tune into their content that much. And what you believe they provide for the community. I think Sandman provides even though it's intended as, I would say, retaliatory or an offensive strike against feminism, I think what he does is, with some curse words or some potty mouth, he provides a very clear, logical, linear, like, here's an argument. No, you're not insane. Like, if you look, and admittedly, kind of like Joker, he'll cherry pick like data or articles from not so much him as Joker does, but like from Daily Mail or tabloids where, yeah, it's kind of shocking. But what in doing that, using that as a vehicle, you point out to a rookie kid, like, look, you're not insane. You're not losing it. You're not wrong. And so that's, I guess, what I like most about his content. I don't have any funny experiences or stories with them. So there. Then the next one, Flinging Monkey. Never met him in real life. I've met him online. What I think about him as people, I think Flinging Monkey is probably one of the foremost and best economists out there right now. That's the main reason I tuned into his show. And it has nothing really to do with Red Pill. It has to do with the economic analysis. And I know it's going to sound arrogant. I rank him up there with me in terms of economic analysis and observation. What I like most about his content is how he's happy and optimistic. Like, TFM is one of the more interesting characters that I do consume all of his content, nearly all of it. Though I'll skip ahead of it if he gets back and, the vote was stolen and but it's optimistic in that it's still like, okay, he's a philosopher. Like, let's have fun with life. Let's enjoy life. Let's make fun of what's happening in front of us, even though it's kind of tragic. And I also say he's one of the more brave people to make these observations. Like, no, it's over, man. It just, I'm going to go to Alaska. I'm going to yeet off to Singapore. He has the courage and bravery to say, yeah, it's that bad. And now we got to take action. He doesn't just sit there and, woe is me. One of his famous lines is, won't somebody, not me, do something? But he does something. He knows to do it on the micro level and the personal level. So he has a truly flippant approach and enjoy the decline type of mentality to the United States, very much is what I do. That's what I enjoy most about his content and what you believe he provides for the community. I think he, I disagree. I mean, I'm a libertarian, so everyone can do their sex doll thing. I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't believe the biggest contribution he makes is like, hey, here's some sex toys and some sex dolls. I don't think that's the biggest contribution. I think he has the ability to go out there, plant a stake out on the frontier of political economic thought and say, this is what's going to happen. We rally on this point. And he has the balls to say it. I like how he calls the Democrats the communists, because that's what they are. You can't even get the Republican Party to call them socialists right now. And I think that's where he's like, he's out there saying, putting out beacons like, this is where the battle is, where we got to go. This is what you got to do. And and he provides a game plan. He provides a map. So I think that's the best thing. And do I have any interesting, funny stories about him? I'm trying to think. We've had online exchanges. I guess one of the funnier things is I'll write a piece and it'll be a deep philosophical piece, but I don't really much care what people's criticisms of it are, but I've sent him a couple pieces like, oh, hey, you might like this. And he immediately tears it apart. Not he necessarily disagrees with it, but he'll find something wrong with it or something like, I can't write. He'll write this huge dissertation. I'm like, TFM, I just wanted you to read. I understand. You didn't need to write a counter dissertation or thesis, but it's just the general gist. If you could, here's the observation, and he'll come back with a wholly detailed analysis of it. And it's like, I just wanted you to enjoy your ice cream. That's it, The chemical components of the ice cream after I did a spectral analysis after melting it down. Like, I just wanted you to enjoy the ice cream. That's really it. So that's kind of a little funny inside biz story there. Modern Life John. I've just only met him online. What do I think about him as people? He is probably the most interesting character out of all of them because he's just so darn goofy. We even admit, and he even admits, that he's like kind of the professional wrestler of the Red Pill community. And what I love about John is the guy just went balls to the walls and did it. He came from poverty, broken home, single mom, who hasn't? But he made it across the Pacific. He wanted to go to Japan. He does not accept any excuses as to why he can't do things. And he's doing it. And he went out there and John is a lot of people like to give him guff because he's so much of a lampoonable stereotype, so much of a clown. But then you look at like the present, what kind of like, not that I was against him. I was like, oh shit, it's not an act, it's not shtick. This is the real dude. I mean, a little bit of shtick, but when he had me take his class, I'm like, what is this, man? Like, brush your teeth, comb your hair. What is this? 12 rules. Well, I watched it, and he's a great presenter. He put a lot of time and effort into it. It wasn't some shtick. He cleaned up. He put on a nice shirt. Got the lighting right and everything. And what corroborates that is the amount of effort and energy he puts into researching marketing and numbers. You see this character like Sergeant Slaughter on the YouTube. You do not see the months and days and hours and years he spends going over data, putting together, he puts together websites, and you think like, oh, look at this dumb website. That took a day, and he did it overnight. And you could just tell by the amount of content that he produces and the quality content. And by quality, I don't just mean the material, but also audio visual. This guy is working at least 80 hours a week, at least. Then he goes and he has fun. And then his classes sell. I'm not a millionaire. I don't make $1 million or multiple millions of dollars a year. He does. And whereas I would have never thought, there's no need for that kind of, yes, there is, because there are so many generations have lacked so many fathers, and what fathers were printed did such a bad job. I didn't realize, like, we got to start with 101, a really or even a remedial class. And that's where John comes in. Because I think we start off, all right, we're going to talk about 401ks, IRAs. These guys don't even know what a dollar is. They don't even know what a bank account is. They don't know how to set up a checking account. That's where John comes in. And so and what I like most about him is he comes in, he just gets some kind of good zinger in on me. I'm like, okay, all right. all right, the whatever the heck his racial composition. I don't know what Trinidadian, Latino, white, small dick guy. That's all right. All right, we're gonna start off with this. We're gonna start off, but yeah, and he's just happy. I think he's happy to not be poor anymore. I think he's happy to see progress. I think he's happy, like, holy cow, I get to strike back and we're doing good and we're helping out men. And he has saved lives too, but he's also happy doing it. He's just such a goofball. It's like, oh, look at that guy go. All right, here he is. It's kind of like the drunk wiener dog that comes to the party. Oh, look at this goofy wiener dog coming to. Here he is. All right. And so everyone's happy when John shows up. And so, yeah. So he's a good guy, no doubt about that. I enjoy most about his content. I really did. It was his delivery and the professionalism, the quality, audiovisual quality. The content itself to me is like, to me, it's dumb. Like, what do you mean brush your teeth? What, like, no, man, but I'm not the audience. So I like the audiovisual quality, his delivery, his presentation. That's what I like about the content, but not the content itself. But I don't hate the content either. It's just like, hey, Aaron, do you like broccoli? Not really. I appreciate what it does. What do you believe they each provide for the? I think he's the onboarder. That's what he does for the community. He's the onboard. He onboards people. He gets he's out there, the fisherman of men, or what was it? Jesus had Peter go fisherman of men. He's the guy that goes out there and gets these young kids and biggest net, finest net. Everyone else, I think, is very narrow and niche focused, which is fine. That's how we all got here. But he's out there bringing them to the church. That's what he's doing. He's the missionary. He goes out there. Any interesting stories? I mailed him Perkins coupons once. Did my life? Oh, I skipped Troy Francis. Met him online again. Never met in person. What I think of him as I think Troy is you see a polished product at the end. You see this very refined, very handsome, charismatic British gentleman who is very James Bond-esque. And not just because he looks like Daniel Craig or the British accent, but he just comports himself as a very finely polished late 30s, early 40s gentleman. You do not know the hell that man went through, which is why I recommend How to Become an Asshole, which Troy Francis wrote. And that guy did not have an easy life. Poverty, broken home. He had to pull himself out of it. Drugs, alcohol, everything. And that man has overcome more demons in his life than I think anyone. Yeah, TFM. Well, TFM didn't. No, TFM had a really bad background too. I mean, this isn't a competition, but I'd have to say Troy probably had the worst background of anyone you see or hear on the YouTubes there, and just struggled to get to kind of where he is today. So that is a very strong character, even though you see a very charming and smiley British man. He came from behind. What do I enjoy most about his content? Troy's content is some of the stuff I watch the least. Now I've read his stuff. I've read his books, not all of them, but several of them, and they're good. But this again gets back to what does a pastor do? He doesn't listen to other pastors' sermons for fun. What does a pastor do for fun? Well, probably goes to Disney World, goes to the bar, especially if you're Lutheran. Troy most and so I'd like some of his infields. Those are okay because you get to see, I know that guy. Look at him. He's in the row. He's talking to that girl, that kind of thing. But I don't really watch a lot of Troy's content. There's only so much stuff in the day. And I'm not really in the pickup community either. I don't really want to go out and I'm not chasing after anyone else. And, so it's kind of moot. I don't really even have people watch football because maybe they played football. So they have kind of a hobbyist interest in it, but I don't even have a hobby. My dating days were very much like Vietnam. I don't want to go back. What do you provide each of the community? Well, Troy obviously provides a how-to instructional for day game or in-person game, whatever you want to call it. I think that is the number one thing. There's basically two two groups that are, I guess, PUA types, for lack of a better word. There'd be Troy Francis and then Fresh and Fit for the internet. Troy's in the real world, analog, meat space. Fresh and Fit, they aren't expressly pickup artists. They're more aware of the digital realities. And then I looked at the numbers from the book of numbers when I was doing the research for that. And online dating, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a complete waste of time unless you're young and you're going to dedicate a lot of time to it. Troy is what every guy was 60 years ago. You had to go up to girls in person. And I think studying Troy or consuming his works or taking a class, he has classes out, I think that is a mandatory requirement for any young man out there if you want to meet girls, because just don't even waste your time online. You see a cute girl at whatever, the town hall celebration or at the brew pub or whatever, you should be able to get up, go with relatively little fear, ask the girl out, talk to her a little bit, stuff like that. Again, I had my fair share of that when I was younger. A lot of we didn't. I kind of got out of it right before online dating was becoming a thing. And to this day, unless you're situational alpha, it's just good to be able to go out in public. Oh, there's a cute girl, and be able to say something charming, witty, charismatic on the fly, not rehearsed, no lines. Boop, boop, bada, 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 be like, have it fun, and then leave. And then so a lot of times that's the ideal situation. You go, you approach, the girl is not receptive, she's very cool, and to be like, okay, out of here. And then not to take it too personally. Any story? I don't have any stories. I don't have any stories about Troy. I know all those guys, like Sterling Cooper and them, they all go hang out. They're hanging out over in Eastern Europe. I'm sure they have much more stories, but I've been busy past year with that darn house. So we did Sandman, TFM, Troy Frame, and then Ryan Stone. Ryan Stone, he's kind of the more, I would say, mature-ish or based, or he reminds me of a character called Fuller in A Bridge Too Far. And Fuller was the military analyst that was getting reports from the Dutch underground that there were German panzer divisions in the area for Operation Market Garden. They shouldn't go ahead with it. And that obviously caused a great ruckus among the higher ranking. And they ended up taking him off duty, I guess in the real world too, not just the movie. But whoever Fuller's commanding officer was comes in, Fuller, I know we give you guff, but kind of, what was it? Keep doing what you're doing. Why, sir? He's like, we need you to kind of like check our work, check our math, and that's what I like about Ryan is he anchors it, calls out BS when he said like, oh, woman, am I right? We don't want to become the He-Man Woman Haters Club. He's just kind of an anchor, like an auditor of our thoughts of sorts. It's good to have that kind of guy. He's more cerebral. If you read his book, The Fook Files, FUCC, he gets very deep and philosophical, almost to a Rollo level. And so that's generally what I like about him in his content. Then when you consume that's his books, and that's when we have him on Rule Zero. But I really like is him and Carl. I had them sub for me one time. Great conversation. It wasn't even necessarily, it was just general stuff. Him and Carl are a great combination. Him and Jack Napier, a great combination. I just like having Ryan around as kind of a philosopher, a resident philosopher. I'd say Flinging Monkey is probably more the philosopher on that, but it's very focused on survival, post-apocalypse, capitalism, freedom, communism, that kind of thing. Ryan is more universal philosopher, and he reads philosophers. I don't know why he poisoned his mind with Chomsky. Linguistics, am I right? Free other people's shit, am I right? I'm so smart. He helped create computer languages. Good for him. And he still advocates theft. Okay, got it. I prefer Schopenhauer, but that's kind of why I like Ryan and what he brings to the table. Where are the 3 questions? Met him online. What I think of him as a person, real man. He was a sailor. He did his duty. What I most enjoy about the content, philosophical aspect, and that he keeps everyone based and anchored. We believe that each provide for the community. Like I said, he's the auditor. He's the fuller. He's the military intelligence analyst that, like, hey, have you thought about this? Oh yeah, we have. Maybe we're getting off mark. I don't have any really funny stories except what he told about him riding pigs when he was a kid with his brother. That was about it. I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, I no doubt I'd like to have Sandman and TFM on the show. I would. It's just an issue of whether we all got time, which we don't. We don't. We rarely do. I had him on one time. I had a great interview, but we probably had to take it down. So I switched it over to BitChute. It's his analysis of America getting its ass kicked in Afghanistan. It's a really good conversation. I've had TFM on a couple times. But I know you're like, oh, it'd be great to get all these people together. It's like, look, I'd love to see I'm trying to think of two actors. Well, I guess actors get together more commonly. It just isn't going to happen. It's not going to happen at the rate you guys would like, because everybody's busy doing their own thing. If we all get demonetized or booted off, then we have time. But it's like Modern Life John. You only see 10% of his work. You don't see the 90% he's doing behind the scenes. Same thing. I'm surprised Rollo makes as much content as he does. I don't know where he gets the time for that. I don't even know if he has, if his wife is around. Like, don't you have a wife? Doesn't she want to see you every once in a while? Like, what are you doing hanging out with us schmucks all the time? All right. Let's go to the super chats, if there are any. Let's scroll through here. Just scrolling through the chats. Hey, $50 one. How you doing, man? Where you've been for $5? Happy New Year, Cappy. I get some good info from YouTube channel Economic Ninja. Yeah, a lot of people recommend him, and there's the paradox. Like, oh, do you listen to Economic Ninja? No, why not? Because I probably could finish his sentences. I probably agree with the guy. You also have to keep in mind, I've been doing economics since I was like real economic analysis since I was 21. Had an internship many years ago. And I've been there, guys. I've done it before. Like, oh, you should go to Florida. I've been there many times. I know it. I don't need to go again. And Economic Ninja, I hope he's aware that the only thing he's going to get out of talking about economics is to convince his audience or educate his audience. He's not going to change the world. He's not going to stop a company from going bankrupt. He's not going to stop a bank from making a bad loan. That's not going to happen. It's all political. You're not going to convince people to improve their lives. It's not going to happen. But yeah, I hope he's very entertaining. He's educating a lot of you. But yeah, I don't tune into Economic Ninja. All right. Thumbs up. Boom. That's it. See you guys later. Toodles.